Hi-ho, good neighbors. It's been a long time. I'm responding to, or this is a video response to interracial dating is not natural. Specifically, and I'm actually only responding to one point in that. That the point is that God is against interracial dating, and I'm also responding in general to any video that holds that view, that espouses that view. When you see these videos like this, or articles, or letters to the editor, anything, they often point to the Old Testament, where the Lord tells the Jews not to intermarry with other nations. And that is often used to justify the position that the Lord is against interracial dating. What that position misses is that wasn't a prohibition against interracial dating or marriage. That was a prohibition against interfaith marriage. The Lord wasn't worried about watering down bloodlines, diluting bloodlines. He was against diluting his covenant with the Jews. So any argument that the Lord is against interracial dating using the Old Testament, that the Lord prohibited the Jews from marrying with other nations, is taking the wrong view. I would suggest to you, to anyone who holds that view, if you hold that view, you are looking at the Old Testament when we hold that position, we are viewing ancient times through our modern racist eyes. Because we, as a nation, especially the United States, is so preoccupied with race that we assume everyone at all times, at all points in history, was equally occupied with race, preoccupied with race. But you may be interested to know, or surprised to note, that race has not always existed. Race, could be said, is a modern invention. Race was invented to justify slavery in the United States. Now, slavery had existed at all points in history. It was only when it came to the United States that people felt that they had to justify it by saying that the slaves were inferior and couldn't tolerate freedom. There are articles written from way back when slavery was in its American slavery is what I mean, in its infancy, when the nation was in its infancy, saying that the slaves, if they lived in a state of freedom, they would go insane. So if you'll notice, if you'll read some books, and I have one here, this is Blacks in Antiquity by Frank Snowden, and he has also written another book called Blacks in Antiquity, Before Color Prejudice. I have that book too, but I couldn't find it. But they show that back in antiquity, in ancient times, blacks, and like I say, I'm using modern terms, but back in those days, it was more of where you came from, that people, a nation, a different nation. It wasn't so much a color of skin as we love to hold so dear these days. Even in classical mythology and Greek mythology, Zeus was just as likely to appear as a black man, or the Greeks on, I had that up just a second ago, I'm sorry. The Greeks, and Homer's, I believe it's Homer's, where the island Homer was from, believed that Zeus, when he appeared in human form, appeared as a black man. You may be surprised to know that Andromeda, the Ethiopian princess, the one you see portrayed as a white woman so often in the movies, and remember this, because Clash of the Titans, a remake of Clash of the Titans, is about to come out. Andromeda was black. In Greek mythology, Andromeda was black. She was an Ethiopian princess. Now, also, and I missed a point. I also meant to make a point about the Old Testament. If you'll read Numbers chapter 12, Aaron and Aaron's wife Miriam were speaking against Moses because he had married an Ethiopian woman. Okay, in modern times we would call her black. And the Lord made Miriam leprous, made Miriam a leper for speaking against Moses' Ethiopian wife. So that would be another reason to, another way to illustrate that this notion that the Lord is against interracial marriage. No. Okay, and another point I wanted to make, I wrote a few things down. Another point I wanted to make was the point about you don't see lions mixing with tigers and elephants mixing with bears and cats mixing with dogs. Those are all illustrations of different species. All human beings are the same species. We are all Homo sapiens sapiens. Now, you do see dogs mixing, you do see German shepherds mixing with Labrador retrievers because they know something that we humans don't know because we like to separate people by color, by stock. They know that they're all dogs, which is what I'm suggesting to you, that we should all know that we are all people. And I'll get back to my main point as far as, because that's actually what I'm just responding to, is that the Lord is not against this interracial dating. And I don't like to say interracial, but these are the terms we're living with these days. Okay, I think, I've cited the Numbers, Numbers chapter 12, where Moses and Aaron and Miriam speaking against Moses' Ethiopian wife. I believe the best illustration to show that the Lord is not against interracial marriage can be found, or one of the places is the New Testament. This is Galatians chapter 3, verses 25 through 29, and these I will read. But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster. For ye are all the children of God by faith in Christ Jesus. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in Christ. And if ye be Christ's, then ye be Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise. So, what I'm suggesting to you is that the Lord doesn't see color. He doesn't see race. We are all His children. And if we believe in Him, we will see everyone as our brothers and sisters. And that is the point I am making to you.